it's morning. And that means it's time for Rotten Mornings. The best way to start your morning off rotten.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Oh my God, guys. We're just full of energy this morning, and we kind of wanted to bring a little bit of that energy to you guys.
Good rotten morning.
Oh, what is this bird doing over here? Get out of here, bird.
Hey, yeah, we don't listen to listens to bird. Should we just start it over?
No,
or
this
should
is
we
going well so far.
or should we just?
It's great.
Keep going.
Should we cancel the podcast?
Canceled.
So anyway, guys, yeah, it's been a really long month for us. We knew going in that this is September.
Yep.
Guys, what do you mean? Wait a minute. I thought we were wrapping up our super busy month.
Yep.
That's why we're
about to ramp it up to a super busier month.
And that arrange we jazz it up.
No.
No, we don't.
We're going to rotten it up. Take that however you want to.
Rotting it all the way up there.
Jazz and shit.
So
But hey, we are actually recording this in morning hours. There's that.
Whoa.
Like we do every episode.
Every episode.
Sure.
Yep. And you guys are getting to hear it at 7:00 p.m. As the Lord intended. Well, that's a minute and a half of a podcast. Don't know how much more you want.
What are we talking about today?
Oh man, just that we. I was thinking that we had just finished up our super busy month and we're about to relax, and it's not.
Nope.
Nope, not the case.
No relaxation in the future for us.
Okay.
But lots of haunt stuff.
We do have lots of haunt stuff. We've got a lot of rotten stuff too, which isn't always just specifically haunt. Rotten.
Oh, I thought you were going to say good.
There is that too.
And
it definitely can't be considered relaxing.
That's fair. That's fair. Super rude, but it's fair and balanced.
What did you say? I said you suck. No. I heard what you said. It was just incredibly rude. There's going to be a lot of coughing.
Yeah. This is what happens when we record these at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not actually recording it at night.
Oh, he's not recording this? Oh, I'm going to stop talking.
Thank God.
But we did stay up all night.
And all other day
night.
in your bedroom. What the hell is that? Dude, I get like sound clips that just shoot through my brain like, hey, play this is there. I'm thinking about it. I have no idea what just happened.
So, what did you get into last night, Scott Trick?
I went out to the opening night for Hellbilly Hollow.
Woohoo!
They have a very special event this year for the opening night. They had their Hell Night.
They're rescheduled to Hell Night.
Yeah. And which made it a first for me because, guys, I don't know about you, but I have never been to a rescheduled Hell Night.
We have been to a few rescheduled Hellbilly nights, not Hell nights.
There's a little bit of chaos going on outside the studios this morning. Someone just drove off the road.
To be whistled at.
And Matt is trying to make first contact.
So yeah. So how was Hell Night?
Hell Night was a blast. Of course, Hellbilly Hollow is always a super good time.
Yes.
And so I like I said, I've never been to Hell Night, and it was a different experience. But a lot of fun, and man, I tell you what, the crowd there last night was like one of the happiest crowds that I've seen.
Awesome.
Of any haunt anywhere. Just like, no one's like, oh man, that was lame. They're just like, hey man, I want to do it again. Like, people are going through the haunt repeatedly, you know, back to the house, back to the house, back to the house. That's so cool.
That is the best.
Got to see some other haunts kind of come out and represent, so that was cool. They had some sideshow performers there. That was neat.
Sweet. That always makes for an interesting experience.
Well, normally Hellbilly Hollow has 3 attractions.
Yes.
And last night they had 2, so they just brought in, you know, some entertainment, and that's nice. I also am a big fan of how their midway is set up, because it's a big group party.
Yeah.
You know, and having a little bit of entertainment there, whether it's music or whatever.
I hate to toot our own horn, but you do remember what the midway was like before we started plugging on them about making that a midway, right?
I was only bragging on the midway.
Oh, it's his. It's your friend.
Yeah.
That's my friend. But their Hell Night's a little bit more adult themed, and there's a lot of adult stuff that happens.
Lots of flesh.
And actually,
I heard you got slapped in the face multiple times with certain types of instruments.
I think you can say dildo. I mean, I said fuck earlier.
I was only not saying it because he hadn't yet.
yeah, no, I was. It's the I have the PTS DVD.
PTSDILD. Oh. I spelled dildo.
I'm so proud.
Me too.
Post-traumatic stress dildo?
Yes.
That plays. Anyway, a word from our sponsor. Hey kids, do you have PTSD?
No. We're not doing that commercial. We can't do that commercial.
Oh no.
If you've ever experienced,
it was all.
And we're back.
Are we?
And we're back. Yeah, we were talking about Hell Night at Hellbilly Hollow, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Those guys, I think the performers, we've heard time and time again how much they enjoy that night, and just getting to let loose and be silly in ways that the haunt really doesn't. You know, it isn't for scare factor; it's more for gross out or like.
Well,
this kind of thing.
I think it's a genius thing because it gives the haunt actors themselves an outlet, a kind of a relaxed night to do whatever they want to.
Yep.
And that's entertainment.
Just a quick note, if you guys haven't ever been out to Hellbilly Hollow and you guys follow ROTN, which if you're listening to this podcast and don't follow ROTN, who are you?
Who are you? How did
Why
you
are you
find us?
here?
Where did you get here? What?
What?
Are you doing?
How did that happen?
This cannot be fun.
But ROTN members, Grim Lens and Carrie Cannibal, that's their home haunt, and they were having a ruckus good time last night.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I hate that we missed that.
Yeah, it was a silly time, but
I'm glad you got to go check it out.
yeah, and you guys weren't without your own fun last night.
No. We got to go check out the Haunted Chicken House for their opening night.
And it was awesome. I really wish there was more people that turned out. So
Yes.
you guys, if you're listening to this, go to the damn Haunted Chicken House.
Yes.
What's wrong with you people?
You will love it.
Where's the Haunted Chicken House?
It's in Heflin, Alabama, just past Talladega.
Well, it's past Talladega, right on the other side of Oxford and Anniston.
Now, if you're living in Birmingham, that's about a 50-minute drive. It's worth it?
Oh,
It was
definitely.
beyond worth it.
That's awesome. So, this was opening night for them,
Yes.
right? And how was the crowd? You said you wish there'd been more people, but how were the people?
It was
were
a
all
good
right.
crowd.
It was a good crowd. I think it was a very muted crowd.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody was very, kind of trying to figure out where they fit in, what was going on.
Sure.
They're still trying to work the kinks out of everything.
Do you think?
Went well? I think it was a
definitely
good
went
night,
well.
nevertheless.
Do you think that typically you would say that September crowds are, hey, I've been jonesing for a haunt for a year and now I finally get to go see one, or they're going to be more of the people who are like, hey, I'm going to see several haunts this season. This is the first one. I'm just like, let's go check it out.
Honestly,
I think you've got a balanced mix.
what I think is that because it's in Alabama and it's not we're still in Alabama, that a lot of people just don't even think about haunts in September. I think with Hellbilly Hollow did amazing numbers because they already had that buzz there because it got canceled and rescheduled. And I think there was a lot of people that wanted to go to Hell Night on Saturday when it was scheduled and they were not going to be able to get there. So when they rescheduled, they were like, oh, I got a chance to get there. And they got a decent crowd.
Yeah.
With the Chicken House, I think that they suffered from not only it being football games that were Friday nights, because a lot of people have started going back out to those, and last year those weren't happening.
Well, I think a lot of the people that go to that that work that haunt and go to that haunt are parts of local communities where the high school games are going. And I think we've seen that several seasons with them.
And I think that there's a little bit of the, again, people not thinking about haunts in November like we do because we are us and a lot of people are not us.
Most
literally
people,
everybody.
Yeah, actually not even us or us.
Yeah. But I still think it was a stellar night. We had so much fun running around and playing with everybody, and the house is on point. They've actually extended the house by adding a little bit more of a back and forth movement to it. They've changed a bunch of rooms. They've got some pretty good actors out there. I think that they just need to get their pacing down. Honestly, I think if I was to pinpoint the reason why they didn't have a giant turnout last night is I would look probably directly at whoever's doing their advertisement, not really doing a good job. That's us.
Completely going to take the fault for that one. Okay. Yeah. Middle of a...
So, guys, if you're listening to this, I want you to turn up that crowd out there, please, God, for us. Get to the Haunted Chicken House, guys. Show them that we're doing something for them.
Tell them we sent you, please.
One of the things that I super enjoy, as always, especially haunts that sort of know who we are and know that they can kind of push the envelope with us, especially on things where you're on a hayride and you've got a whole group of people with you and, they attack us. One of my favorite parts, of course, I like Myers both stabbing me and slitting Brandy's throat, but I set up a gig with their Jason character, and nobody on the cart knew what was going to happen, including Brandy and everybody else. But one of the characters came up on the truck, and
Crazy Granny
came up on the truck and pulled a gun on me and marched me backwards off.
That wasn't even a part of it.
No,
she was just super mad and pulled a gun.
Don't
even know where that came from.
Either.
There's not even a performer called that.
Yeah, I just gave her that name because she was older and terrifying. But she walks me off the back of the trailer, and then waiting over to the side is Jason, and he grabs me and he tosses me across the field into the side of a camper van. And I think he thought he hurt me right off the jump because I hit the ground, and I'm on the ground facing away from the trailer, pick me up again, throw me again. And he's like, are you sure, man? And I'm like, yeah, throw me again. So he scoops me up by the hair and he throws me again. And then he scoops me up by the hair and he throws me again. And at this point, it didn't happen any other place on the trail. But the trailer had gathered around Brandy. Everybody was out of their seats.
Now, I was
and leaning over the side
at this time.
Bro, he real took a hit. He for real took a hit. It was so much fun, dude. It was so much fun.
So this is one of things. And guys, this is something we have very close relationships with haunts where we have situations like that come up. That's not something that everybody gets to do or should expect, but
they love when we come out there to play with them.
Absolutely. But if we ever ask them, like, no, go ahead and really hurt us, they do.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, Grim and Carrie, I'm like, hey, this will be cool. Y'all just go ahead and like beat the crap out of me. That's the wrong thing to say if you don't want the crap beating out of you.
Now, they tend to be a lot nicer to me, but I think that's because I don't volunteer for the same kind of things that y'all do.
Oh, that's fair. That's
True story.
Now, there were some people from the community that people may know that were out there last night, right?
Yeah, we had a good turnout for and Sanatorium came out. Oh, you're talking about with us?
Yeah.
Everett was working out there.
That's awesome.
Grin the clown.
Everett has done a lot.
Working out there.
Everett's done a lot for ROTN and comes out, and he's always
part of the ROTN crew.
And I'll tell you, Everett hasn't done a lot of haunting and didn't really know what he was going to do, and he was a little bit like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And man, he's just so imposingly large, and dude, he had these girls. There were like 5 girls jammed into a porta-john.
Yes, all at
and
one
he was
time.
just waiting there because he had to pee. And they wouldn't come out of the porta-john because he was there.
They peeked their heads out, see that he was still there, and run back in. We had to send Jess, the ROTN stepsister, over there to them. Just be like, all right, girls, if you want him to not scare you, you're going to have to come out so he can use this restroom.
Because he's about to come in there with your asses.
You said Gran the Clown?
Yeah, yes. Gran was out there. He was doing a stellar job. He was killing it. And of course, Bobo going from one end of the field to the front of the thing to the back to the other end of the field, and it's just chaos.
I'll tell you, I loved the house. I loved the hayride. We did not get a chance to experience the crazy train this year, but I always love when we go out there. But I think one of my favorite parts of the night was we were watching a crowd get into line to go through the house, and Bobo suddenly starts yelling at him, single file, single file.
And
the whole crowd just zips and runs back out of the line out towards the parking lot.
And don't worry, I got that on video.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
It was great.
Not to mention the fact that same crowd came running down the entryway once they heard the chainsaws kick up. And about 3 of them 100,000% face planted and slid belly first across the crowd.
And luckily, it was directly in front of the camera.
Yes, it was.
You guys said the crowd could have had a little bit more hype last night. That's the crowd.
Oh no, there were definitely certain portions of the crowd.
I think the only thing that they suffered from not having the crowd hype is because there wasn't more of a crowd. If there were been more people out there to see their reactions, that fuels each next person and gives them that.
When we first got on the hayride, when we went through that last time, the crowd that was sitting there, nobody was talking to each other. They were all just very quiet, not sure what was coming next. But we got on there and started talking to everybody, and next thing you know, they're all talking to each other, and they were so much more ready to see what came next at that point. It was great.
That's awesome. Hey, guys, we're going to take a quick break to hear from one of our sponsors. We promise this time it's not that pickle macaroni ad.
It is.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
This commercial is brought to you by pickle-flavored macaroni. It is good.
Taste that dill.
You know what? I really love macaroni, and I really, really love pickles. And I've always been like, how do I get more pickle in my macaroni or more macaroni in my pickle? Now, with Grim's amazing recipe, that problem's been solved.
Too often
the whole
people have
family.
used. Too often people have thought cheese is the only option with macaroni, but not now.
Pickled macaroni is so good it makes us giggle.
Pickle
I'm
pasta.
eating it now.
I'm giggling.
So if you want macaroni and pickles,
Eat it.
All right. I don't know what happened there. I got to get with my producer. Anyway, we're. You okay there,
Yeah, I'm
Slim?
good. That was funny.
Oh, okay. It was the joke that did it.
Mhm.
Right. It's not the fact that you're
Dying.
dying. Hey, guys, we're back. Hey, you don't have to hear our sponsor. So I did want to ask you guys, because we've hyped it up so much. We've done so much out there. We've put so much information out there. Tell me, just like the pure bliss that you guys had. Just that I know you guys were just full of happiness, joy, and like everything was right in the world. How was the chicken livers?
Chicken livers were great. The chicken salad was great. The
Chicken fingers. They can have them on a bun. Fried chicken, small chicken.
honestly, tell you the truth, you want a really good meal for really cheap. Just go to the haunted chicken house's concession stand. You don't even have to get a ticket. Just go and have yourself a
You know,
burger and
of
some
all
hot
the stuff
dogs.
we got, I don't think we got anything that had chicken in it.
I think that's the
between,
joke. I think that's
but
the joke.
between the three of us, we had a cheeseburger, a corn dog, a hot dog, some chili cheese nachos,
Not so. Not
chili
so.
cheese fries, and some fried Oreos, and 3 drinks.
Who had fried Oreos?
We had fried Oreos.
Now, if you go to the haunted chicken house, it's a big thing for us. There's a young lady named Stacy there. You need to seek her out and ask her to make you fried Oreos because she's the only one that can do it right.
How would you know which one's Stacy?
Bright orange hair.
Okay, so specifically look out for the bright orange hair.
Also, in other news of the Oreo lady, we are filming their wedding next year.
No kidding.
Is it going to be there?
I'm not for certain. I'm not
It's going to be in the Freddy Krueger room.
Which PS is like my favorite room in that house. I really wish they would put a little bit more like flashing lights in there and stuff. But I love that room.
The hydraulics on the ramp that you have to walk across that you don't realize is going to move until after you've stepped on it is fantastic. It gets me every time.
Hey, let me
And then
ask
you have to go down a slide to get out of that room too.
That's always super fun. Let me ask you guys something. You guys have been to the haunted chicken house 1 or 2 times, right?
Yes.
Oh,
A few dozen,
at
billion
least.
times, yeah.
Yeah. This year was a little bit different.
It was.
Yes.
A lot of the people listening to the podcast have also been to the haunted chicken house. Thank you guys for going out and supporting it. If you haven't, go out and support it. But if they have already been to the haunted chicken house and they've seen some things, is there something new that we can talk about that, like, hey, this is a really cool new thing?
Well, honestly, me personally, I felt like the hayride, even though there were, some very down phases, just because of the wagon we were on, and everybody wasn't super duper like hyped and bouncing. I mean, we got them there. I think the hayride this year for me was like better than it has been in a way. It seemed a lot more interactive. There's a lot more people out there, whereas the house was. I enjoyed the heck out of the house. But I think they've got some fine tuning to do because they put a lot of their new people in the house.
Sure.
And a lot of their vets were out in the field this time.
Well, one of the things I've always loved about their hayride is that it's a bigger hayride than some of the other places we've gone to. There's a whole lot of people on this trailer with you going through it. I love that experience, and it's a longer hayride than a lot of the other places
And
we've
actually,
gone
the
to as
last
well.
hayride had a really long hayride because when they went into the covered bridge, the tractor hitch broke and the trailer rolled backwards halfway out of the covered bridge, and they didn't realize that it broke off the tractor.
We weren't on that one.
To just take off.
Yes.
They're stuck in there and it's like, boom.
Tyler turns around and he's like, "Hey guys, the trailer's not here. It's back there."
Missing something.
You know, you were talking about like, hey, we've got newer guys in the house. We've got more veterans out in the out on the trail. So for me, though, being in the house, you've got so much support of like props and scenery and sounds and movement and darkness. So a newer actor would have more stuff to play with because you've already got an eerie atmosphere. Not that the hayride doesn't, but the hayride, all of those actors have to be putting on a show. They have to be performing. So it has to be like, that's where your veteran actors, really shine at because they don't have all of that other stuff to help them. Now, of course, your HCH Michael Myers, he's got his whole house and he's got his whole scene, and several of them do. But I think the whole mentality of most haunts is like the house is the place to be. Like that's where you want to get to.
I think most haunts have that mentality.
Yeah, but the reality is that like the house is the most supportive place.
Yeah.
Whereas
you got to really bring your game to some of the other.
Well, and that's what it sounds like you guys had as far as an experience.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm so jealous of all the fog that you guys had.
Oh, yeah.
It was so nice.
Oh my God! I saw footage of it, and it was so pretty.
Yes,
too. Like that's the thing.
Man, I remember we walked down there and we looked across that field, and it was like, oh my God, this looks amazing.
And it looked completely different because we got there early. So when we first got there, there was still some daylight, and that was gorgeous. But then once it got dark, it was a completely different view and still amazing.
I think that, like you're saying about the difference between being in the house and being out in the field is that in the house, you go into a box room, X by X, and you have a scene that's kind of there with stuff in your way. So you have a very limited amount of space. I personally love working the fields because of the fact that it's you. That you make it that. Like, you own that area. Like, you have much more room and opportunity. Yeah, if you don't have that energy, your scene's going to lack. Because, okay, like, for instance, Juicy worked 2 different scenes. He worked the catacomb scene by himself, and his energy level was through the roof. Like, he was everywhere. He sat down next to somebody, and they started, like, just talking to him. And then he started acting crazy, and they screamed and, like, backed up away from him. And it was so funny, dude, because he's just sitting there, and he's like, and everyone's like, wait, what?
But then he ran across the field to come join another scene when we were on the other side, too. And still had the same energy.
Dude, no lie, and I'll say this again, every single haunt, putting somebody in your crowd to be picked off at certain areas. If you put a plant on everyone, if you have like 1 or 2 people that are just crowd plants on those rides, every time they could interact with a different scene, and every single person that comes out there will be like, oh man, this scene they drug somebody off, and they'll be like, I saw that too.
But it was at a different scene.
And it's like, no, it wasn't Jason, it was this guy. And like that just adds like that another element of like every different trailer is going to be sort of...
It's going to have a different experience.
Yeah, it's going to be that different pop. And when I tell you, man, them dragging me off that trailer was great. Like, it was amazing.
Even the people that worked there that were on the trailer were asking me away from the camera, was that supposed to happen? Are we supposed
when you got
to
the
leave
workers wondering if that was all good.
Are we supposed to leave them here?
I think so. My opinion on a recurring attraction, meaning you've got crowds going through this attraction multiple times, right? My thought on it is it has to be the right crowd.
Yes.
Because very easily, if it's not done properly, very easily it will encourage other people to do stuff that are against the rules or whatever. So it can be done. It's super effective, but there are some things to consider, when setting that up, because you definitely don't want to encourage somebody who's not a part of what's going on to do something that'll get them hurt or ultimately ruin the experience for others.
Well, when you started this question before we started talking about the blast we had on the hayride, you were asking about if there was new rooms and stuff to the haunt. There is.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed by them and the things that they changed up. The maze itself is different now as well. And it seems like it takes forever to find your way out of, even when you think you know where you're going.
Yeah, I think we went through the maze like 4 times.
Yes.
And still got lost.
Each time.
4 times.
Yeah.
The maze?
Yeah.
Inside the house, there is a dark black maze that you have to find your way out of.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's wild. People were definitely getting stuck in there.
Yeah.
I thought that Hellbilly Hollow...
And you get confused while you're in it. You hear voices, and you're not sure if they're ahead of you or behind you.
That's wild. I thought that Hellbilly Hollow had made a bonehead mistake and just messed up the Scooby-Doo room where there was no escape because we stayed in that room 7 hours.
Yeah, Hellbilly Hollow has some gated doorways that they can open and close to basically loop you back around and keep you continuing to be confused.
And I am so excited about getting a chance to go through there and see what they have for us this year.
You guys are getting to go tonight, aren't you?
I am. Matt, unfortunately, will not be joining me, but Jess, the rotten stepsister, and I are planning on heading out.
That'll be fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Matt just didn't want to go.
Matt has a prior engagement
everything about
that he is not looking forward to, and
I will be working at Buckeyes Groceries, not a sponsor.
not a sponsor. Anyway, guys, here's a word from our sponsor.
Are you looking for a nice, good country store where they carry everything you want and you don't have to go to the hustle and bustle of Walmart Super's frustrating lines of people and mutants? Well, come on down to Buckeyes. Is that what you're looking for? We got everything you need. We got Mars, we got M&M's, we got Snicker bars and Milky Ways. We got everything from Coca-Cola's, Body Armor's, Bangs, Red Bulls, and Monsters. Not to mention our fresh produce.
Including pumpkins of all sizes.
Buckeyes in Argo, Alabama. And we're back. Guys, I don't know if y'all appreciate the amount of work that we put into this podcast. We were up most of the night, and then we had to get up pretty early in order to get this podcast out by 7 a.m. this morning. So yeah, we checked out Hellbilly Hollow. We checked out the Haunted Chicken House. Those are 2 of our favorite haunts. You hear us talk about them all the time. If you guys haven't had a chance, please go out and check those out.
Yes, definitely.
That's me. I'm really cranky.
I don't know if you guys can hear Matt's stomach growling. But it's weird that not only does it growl, it also barks. That's how you know you're really angry. We're going to wrap up this episode, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Is this not recording? It totally is. Anyway, that sound means that it's time for us to call it a night. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll have another podcast before our season starts and kind of make some announcements about what's coming up for the season, so you guys in podcast land will know about it. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't hit like, subscribe, follow,
Please do.
do that. Yes, please do. Stay rotten.
Stay rotten.
Stay rotten.
Join us next time for another episode of Rotten Mornings.